The three big takeaways from the conversation with John Schneider yesterday. Some good news, I think, on Uchenna Nwosu. He was asked whether IR is a possibility for Uchenna. He said not right now. We know that because Uchenna obviously was not placed on IR. He was on the active 53-man roster, meaning they don't expect him to miss more than 4 weeks. This is good news. He also was asked if Uchenna is back for week 1. He didn't say no. He said, I don't know that. It's too early for that. He's made progress. It's an injury you have to take day by day, really.
When you put out vibes like this, you keep people optimistic, you keep your teammates or the players optimistic, you keep coordinators optimistic. That's the way you should move with information like this.
My confidence level in this defense without Uchenna was not high last year. It took me a while to realize how impactful he was because we had so many issues with the defense even before him leaving, but once he left, it became clear that the run defense was even worse.
The Hawks still had 47 sacks last year.
Yes.
47 sacks, and Uchenna wasn't there for what? He only played, 3 or 4 games or something like that. So we were concerned and felt his lack of presence there, but we also were able to kind of let these young guys develop. That's why letting DT go, it kind of blew me up a little bit, but I also understand some other reasons why they let him go because he was part of holding it down while Uchenna was gone. So, yeah, they were still able to do some things when it comes to getting after the quarterback, but you are right. When it comes to stopping that run, him not being there obviously affected this team, but I put more of that on the interior linemen and the linebackers.
Fair. Okay, so very related. Do you feel better about this club missing time without Uchenna? Let's say he's gone 2 weeks, first 2 weeks of the season. You're playing the Broncos at home and New England on the road. Yeah,
and I feel better because Derek Hall seems like he's grown up. I feel better because Boye Mafe is going into his 3rd year. I feel better because the interior defensive line is going to be better, right? It's all connected. Football is connected on every single level. The interior line is going to have the outside guys, vice versa, in the 2nd and 3rd level. But because we're seeing these young players kind of blossom a little bit, I feel better about it. Last year, we didn't know who was going to be the guy. Boye Mafe was coming into his 2nd year. We wanted to see how the kid out of Minnesota developed. Didn't see a lot out of Derek Hall. Darryl Taylor has had his issues over the year with consistency. So last year, when Uchenna goes down, we go, all right, who's going to fill that void? This year, I know who's going to fill the void. I just don't know if they can do it to the level of Uchenna. But what does this do? It provides another opportunity for these young guys to get more reps and grow.
The second one is about Abe Lucas. Abe Lucas remains one of the big mysteries to me about this team in terms of personnel because I genuinely do not know what's wrong with his knee. Is this a degenerative thing that's going to be career long? Is this something that they are just waiting to see if a cleanup worked? Is this something that needed surgery and they're bouncing back? Is this something they feel optimistic about? All I have for you is not necessarily an answer, but just 2 quotes from John Schneider. Asked about Abe's timeline, he says, we're going to play the long game with him and make sure we're doing things appropriately. This is for his career, not just the 2024 season. We want to make sure we're doing the right thing by Abe, which is also the right thing with the Seattle Seahawks. They have a great plan. They'll keep working with that. Asked whether he has any concerns about Abe, he says, quote, I don't know. I think we're just being as cautious as we possibly can.
All right, so what this tells me, Abe has done enough to have them believe in him in the long term and say, this could be our guy at the tackle spot for the next 3 to 4 years. Also, what it tells me is that it is an injury that, if not taken care of properly, can keep showing up. It's when you're talking to in any sport, you're talking about knees and stuff. You have to be cautious with it. But you're talking about big boy knees. Them knees is different. They're holding a lot more weight. That frame is bigger. There's more stress on them. It's just the nature of being a huge human being. So you have to take your time with this. That's the encouraging part, is that they believe in Abe for the future. We love that. The discouraging part is that we just haven't been able to see him. But I follow Abe on social media. He's grinding. He's working out. He's doing what he has to do. And what I know of Abe is that he's a mentally tough individual. If Abe gets healthy and you have all your guys out there at one time, when I take a look at this offensive line, this is the best I felt in a while. Charles Cross, who we've seen have highs and lows, coming into his 3rd year, I think he's going to be fine. Lincoln Tomlinson, veteran in the game, has been with great teams and horrible teams, knows what winning and losing looks like. Connor Williams, considered to be top 3 to 5 at his position in the game. Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes are battling it out. The fact that Christian Haynes is getting more reps is encouraging to me, because that means that he can be the Damian Lewis. Remember that guy, Damian Lewis, right? Started as a youngster, played multiple positions, and was consistent. Didn't play the way that obviously people had liked him to play at times, but was consistent enough to be in that rotation. And then at the tackle spot, this is why you bring in George Fant, and you have the project and Michael Jarrell and Stump Forsythe. So when this line is healthy, I like what we're working with. But because they're not healthy, you have to lean on guys on the 2s and the 3s. But we've seen some of these 2s and 3s go to work already.
The third most important thing is, of course, a response to a report that Geno Smith's agent had approached the Seahawks about a new contract during camp. So he was asked about that report, and John said, yeah, I think I'll leave the contract stuff aside. There's a lot of people that want contract extensions. I'm not going to get into the specific of who they are and all that, but that's part of the job. Happens every year, all the time. Asked if it's accurate to say that he and Geno have discussed a contract, he said no.
All right. And there was some speculation that Geno was asking for more money, and I think that is that's natural. I know what some people are going to say. He should just play his contract out. He should be happy with it. He's getting paid what he's worth. And Geno's not getting paid what he's worth, in my opinion. I think that when you look at other contracts and production of some other quarterbacks, you can clearly have an argument for Geno getting more money. But the fact of the matter is, you signed this contract, and Schneider has shown that he's not really into renegotiating early when it comes to these contracts. But his agent is supposed to do that. That's what agents are for, to try to maximize your earning potential. And this is the most money that Geno can earn in his career. Yes, he just signed a contract. We understand that. But you got to ask questions. The worst they can say is no. It sounded like they was like, nah, we ain't doing that right now. Let's get through the season, and we'll talk afterwards.